Recently, I've been thinking about how modern day humans have become so reliant on the internet and technology that we're actually less intelligent than people in the past. Because everything can be stored online, we no longer need to memorize anything, which has made our memory worse. Because search engines and chatbots can answer all of our questions, we no longer need to deduce the answer with logic and reason, which has atrophied one of the most important parts of our brain. For example, take away our phones, and would we still know phone numbers off the top of our heads like we used to before the smartphone era? Take away our calculators, and would we still know how to do calculations the hard way with a pencil and paper? Take away the internet and take away technology. What do you know, and what can you do? Okay, so what does any of this have to do with language learning? Well, take away the dictionary, and how much of a language do you understand? Take away the dictionary, and can you deduce the probable meaning of a word without ever having to look it up? A couple of months ago, I made it very clear that I had stopped using Anki completely for language learning. And I did this because I thought that by eliminating external memory, I would improve my internal memory, which is my active and passive vocabulary. And I'm trying to do the same sort of strategy with dictionaries, where of course I'm not going to completely stop using dictionaries, but I'm trying to use dictionaries less to strain my brain more and help me remember more. And maybe not use dictionaries less, but use them in a smarter way. So over the past couple of years, well, I've been reading Spanish books for years now, and I've gone through this journey in terms of using Anki, then stopping using Anki, and now using the dictionary and using the dictionary in a smarter way. So here's some sentences to demonstrate that journey. I read a book while looking up new words and making Anki cards. So what I would do is, while reading, if I came across a new word, I would look it up in the dictionary and make an Anki card out of it. Then go back to reading, new word, Anki card, reading, new word, Anki card. And when I did this, I didn't really feel that it was helping that much because it was disrupting the flow of my reading. So I just thought, okay, I'm going to stop using Anki cards, and I'm going to make a new strategy. I read a book while looking up new words. So while I was reading, if I found a new word, I would look it up, then go back to reading, look up new word, back to reading. But I still found that this disrupted the flow of my reading. So then I devised a new strategy. I read a book, then after I'm done reading, I reread and skim over it to look up the new words. So what I would do is read for, 30 minutes to 45 minutes, something like that. Then after that, go back to where I started reading and just skim over it to find the new words and look up those new words in the dictionary. And this strategy actually worked well, but I still found that looking up these new words, or skimming through everything and finding the new words took a lot of time. So I wanted something that was more simple. And that's when I finally developed the sentence where I am right now. I read a book, then after I'm done reading, I look up the new words that I remembered. So this one is a pretty big shift in terms of my ideology, because since I'm only looking up the new words that I remembered, the new words that I didn't remember probably weren't that important because I could understand the story just by my brain filling in the gaps. But since I'm only looking up the new words that I do remember, those are probably the words that I couldn't figure the meaning out through the rest of the context. So they're the most important words. And I've even gone a little bit further, like one sentence further, which is, I read a book. Maybe later I look up the new words I remembered. Maybe I don't. So this one is kind of like the ultimate final end goal because, again, looking up new words after I'm done reading still takes up some time. So what I've actually found out is that when I read books like early in the morning, maybe later in the day, I should specify with this last sentence where I just read the book and that's it. Later in the day, sometimes I'll find that a new word pops up in my head, which was one of the new words that I remembered, and then I'll look it up. So I feel like your brain is doing stuff in the background, and by not using the dictionary, or at least in this case, by not using the dictionary, you can improve your active or passive vocabulary because your brain knows that once the information is gone, then it's gone. So it's going to try harder to remember it. I guess the final piece of advice here is don't use the dictionary immediately if you don't know a new word. Really try to strain your brain and think about it for maybe 20 or 30 seconds and try to guess what it is before you use the dictionary. And I think it's good to use the general principle that the dictionary is the last resort, not the first resort, if that makes sense. The dictionary isn't the first place you should go if you don't know the word. try to figure out the answer with your brain first. And if you can't figure it out, then use a dictionary. Thanks so much for watching. Like it if you liked it, and comment if you disliked it. I'm sorry that this video is coming out on May 2nd instead of May 1st. Back in 2023, I set a new New Year's resolution that I would upload on the 1st of every month. It's kind of due to me procrastinating and recording the video on one day before the 1st. I recorded the video, then when I was editing it, I realized that my gain was too high. So then I re-recorded the video, and then when I was editing that, I realized that there were some audio and video desync issues because apparently my laptop can't handle recording videos at 1080p 60 FPS. So unfortunately, it is what it is. Anyway, yeah, that's all I wanted to say. See you in the next video.